Okay, so in last lecture, we had seen theory part of projectile motion. Okay, now we'll solve few numericals today. See this numerical here, diagram is not given. We have to draw the diagram after reading the question. A gunman fires a bullet with a velocity of 100 meter per second, 50 degree upwards from the top of a hill, 300 meter high. Okay, so here you can see this is ground, and from ground, suppose there is a hill over here, and this hill is at a height of 300 meter. Okay, so hill height can be anything, but gunman is at a height, he is firing from a height of 300 meter. Okay, now what is the direction? It is 50 degree with respect to horizontal. Okay, in upward direction that bullet is fired to hit a bird. Now suppose bird is over here somewhere, that bullet misses its target and finally lands on the ground. What we have to calculate? Calculate A, the maximum height reached by the bullet above the ground. Now if you recall in the derivation, point of projection O and point of target B, both were at same elevation. Here there is a difference. So be careful, don't directly use those equations. We have to solve the numerical considering basic equations. Okay. Now we had already discussed that during projectile motion, x direction velocity, it is constant. So uniform velocity motion. Whereas y direction, we have acceleration due to gravity. So this will be uniform acceleration motion. What is the x component of velocity? It will be magnitude is 100 and angle of that velocity with respect to horizontal is 50 degree. So x component will be, it is towards right, so plus 100 cos 50. This is x component equal to, so this is basically u cos theta. Suppose this 50 degrees theta. Okay, so this value is 64.27 meter per second. Now vertical component, it will be u sin theta. Okay, suppose this 50 degree is theta. Now this is a parabolic curve. So here we have to use projectile motion. So it is a special case of curvilinear motion. So maximum height means this height we have to calculate. And next is total time of flight. Okay, from O to B, what is total time of flight? And part C, velocity with which the bullet hits the ground. So we have to calculate V and this angle alpha. Okay, so we'll consider part A. What is part A? We have to calculate H. Okay, now how to calculate this H? We will consider vertical motion. Consider vertical motion from O to A. Okay, so this height we will get, and total height will be 300 plus this height. Okay, now we will use V square is equal to U square plus 2GH. Okay, now we'll consider here x component of velocity at point A. What will be x component? It will remain same. What is that? 100 cos 50. Because throughout we have uniform velocity motion in x direction. Okay, whereas y velocity, it will become 0. Why 0? Because there is acceleration due to gravity. In vertical direction, we have uniform acceleration motion. Okay, so we are considering vertical motion from O to A. Now in this equation, V is what? Final velocity, which is at point A in vertical direction, and U is initial velocity at point O in vertical direction. and acceleration due to gravity, it will be minus g. Okay, so I'll substitute the values here. So v final velocity is 0 equal to u square. So u square sine square theta minus 2gh. So from here we can calculate h, which is equal to u square sine square theta divided by 2g. Okay, substitute the values. So h is equal to 100 square sine square 50 divided by 2 into 9.81. So from here we can calculate that h. Okay, I'll mark the h on the diagram. So this height we are defining as h. Okay, so h is equal to 299.09 meter. So we have calculated h. Now what is h max? H max. So this is h max. So h max we are calculating, it will be 300 plus 299.09. So total answer is 599.09 meter. So this is first answer, h max. Now second question, we have to calculate total time of flight. Okay, so we will consider motion from O to B. Okay, vertical motion. So second part B, it is we have to calculate T. So consider motion from O to B. In this case, we'll use h is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, so this is s is equal to ut plus half at square, and height. Now here be careful. This is origin point O. Okay, point of projection. Now the point of target, it is below this point. Okay, so this height will be minus of 300. Okay, remember the sign convention which we had seen in theory lecture. So this will be minus 300 equal to, what is the y component of velocity? Okay, this is u. Okay, so it is initial velocity vertical component at point O. So it is u sine theta. So 100 sine 50 into t minus, why minus? Because acceleration due to gravity, half into g is 9.81 into t square. From here we can calculate time. Time is equal to 18.86 seconds. So this is time of flight. Next, velocity with which the bullet hits the ground. Okay, now here we have to calculate v, and then we have to calculate angle alpha. So first we will consider vertical motion from O to B, and then we will consider horizontal motion. Okay, so I'll write down sub question number C. You have to calculate velocity. Okay, now consider vertical motion. So for vertical motion, we can write down v is equal to u plus gt. V is equal to u plus at. Okay, now in this case, what is y component of velocity at point B? Okay, finally v we have to write. Okay, so what is this y component? V sine alpha. It is downward, so it will be negative, minus v sine alpha equal to, what is initial velocity? It is u sine theta. So I'll write down. So this will be u sine theta and minus g into t. So from here we can calculate minus v sine alpha. This value is equal to minus 108.41. Suppose this is equation 1. Now we will consider horizontal motion. Now vertical motion, it is uniform acceleration motion. Okay, so that is why we use this equation. Now horizontal motion, it is uniform velocity motion. Okay, so I'll write down horizontal motion. See, basically we are calculating x and y components so that we can calculate final velocity. Okay, so y component we have seen, okay, minus v sine alpha. Now we have to calculate v cos alpha. Okay, what is the x component? At this location it is u cos theta, and at this location x component is v cos alpha. Both will be same. Why? Because horizontal motion, it is uniform velocity motion. Okay, so we can equate u cos theta. U cos theta is equal to v cos alpha. So v cos alpha is equal to u cos theta. So we can calculate v cos alpha from here, which is equal to 64.27. Now this is equation 2 and this is equation 1, which we have marked over here. Okay, so v and v will get cancelled, and sine upon cos you will get tan alpha, and tan alpha divided by this value. From there we can calculate alpha. Okay, so alpha is equal to 59.33 degree. Now here we will not consider this negative sign. Okay, we'll consider sine alpha. We already know the direction, right? It is downward. So already we know the direction of sine alpha. Here you can see in the diagram. This is downward and this is towards right. So alpha will be in this direction, that we already know. So just we will calculate the value of alpha. So alpha we have calculated. Then substitute that alpha value in any of the equations 1 or 2. You will get velocity. So velocity is equal to 126.04 meter per second. From here we have to show the angle also. What is that angle with respect to x-axis? This is the angle of velocity. This will be v, and angle is 59.33 degree. So we have calculated velocity as well. Okay, now in this question we have calculated sub question number A, which is maximum height reached by the bullet, which was 300 plus this h. Then second, total time we have calculated, and third we have calculated velocity with which the bullet hits the ground. Okay, now one more question I would like to cover in this question itself, even though it is not asked, we'll add over here. So question number D, I'll add over here, that is also calculate range. Now what is range? Range is distance of point of projection, okay, to this point B, point of target. Okay, so this distance, it is horizontal distance. Okay, and horizontal we have already seen, it is uniform velocity motion. So velocity is equal to displacement upon time. Okay, we already have time, we already have x component of velocity. So from here we can calculate displacement. Okay, so from there we can calculate what is range. So I'll write down the equation. So x is equal to, suppose x is range, so x is equal to u cos theta multiplied by time, and u cos theta is 100 cos 50 multiplied by time, which we have calculated 18.86 second, time of light. So from here x is equal to 1212.29 meter. So this is the range from point of projection to point of target. So we will see the next question. So here you can see an elevation is there and one more elevation is there. We have point A and point B. Okay, so we'll read the question here. With what minimum velocity u? Okay, so here you can see this velocity vector, it is u. Can a boy throw a rock at A and hence it just clear the obstruction at B? Okay, now here distances are given from ground. The distance of this u velocity, it is 26 meter, and this point B, it is 16 meter, and this rock is being thrown. Okay, this is the tangential velocity, we are showing tangential, and this is the parabolic path. Okay, so this is projectile motion, and what we have to calculate, what should be the value of u so that the rock will just clear the obstruction at B. Okay, now this can be solved by basic methods like as we had seen in previous numerical, or we can also use general equation of projectile motion. So one example we will solve by general equation of projectile motion, this one. So I'll write down by general equation of projectile motion. What is that equation? Y is equal to x tan theta. This equation we had derived, okay, in last lecture. Tan theta minus g x square upon 2u square in bracket 1 plus tan square theta. Okay, now we have to substitute the value, so understand this properly. Now what is the y distance over here? Y is distance of point of projection to the point of target, vertical distance. Okay, now it is in downward direction, so it will be negative distance. So I'll mark it in the diagram itself. Suppose this is the distance, so this y, it will be minus 10 meter. So we can substitute this y value now. So y is minus 10 equal to, what is x distance? X is 40. Okay, so x is 40 into tan theta. What about angle? Angle of this velocity with respect to horizontal, it is 0. So tan 0 will be 0. Minus g is 9.81 into x square, 40 square, divided by 2 into u square in bracket 1 plus tan square theta. Okay, so from here we can calculate u square. U square is equal to, both sides we have negative. Okay, so we can write down 9.81 into 40 square divided by 2 into 10. From here we can calculate u, which is equal to 28.01 meter per second. Direction will be towards right. Angle is 0. So this is the answer. So this is question number 2. Now in third case, third numerical, this is a bit different numerical because here wind resistance is given. Okay, so we will see this question now. A stone is thrown with a velocity u meter per second at an angle of 20 degree with horizontal from a point 2 meter above the ground. So I'll draw the diagram from this data. So this is the point from where the stone is thrown. Okay, so it will reach the ground over here somewhere. So we have to draw the diagram. Now what is the velocity given here? Velocity vector, it is at an angle of 20 degree. Okay, so this is u and angle theta with respect to horizontal. This angle is theta equal to 20 degree. then it is given that from a point 2 meter above the ground. Okay, so this point, it is at a height of 2 meter above the ground. The stone strikes the ground 5 meter away from the original position. Okay, so here the range has been given. So from point, suppose this is point O. So from point O to this point, this range is given. What is the range given? 5 meter. The motion of stone is subjected to gravitational acceleration. So in y direction, we have uniform acceleration motion and wind resistance of 0.82 meter per second square opposing the horizontal motion. Now here in this numerical, usually what we consider in projectile motion is horizontal component of velocity, it is constant, and vertical component of velocity changes. Why? Because of gravitational acceleration. Now in this case, gravitational acceleration is there, so y component will change, but we have wind resistance. Okay, some acceleration value is given. So x direction also we have uniform acceleration motion. Okay, so in both horizontal and vertical motion of stone, we have to consider uniform acceleration motion for this problem. So first I will consider vertical motion of stone. So what I can write for vertical motion of stone, h is equal to ut plus half gt square. Okay, so h is equal to ut plus half gt square. Now what is the height of point O with this point of projection? This is point of projection and this is point of target. What is this height? It is in negative direction. Y is negative. So minus 2 meter. So h will be minus 2 equal to, what about u? It is in upward direction, right? So it will be u sine 20. So I'll write down upward direction, so plus u sine 20 multiplied by time is t. Now this acceleration due to gravity, it is negative, so minus half into g 9.81 into t square. Simplify this equation, so minus 2 is equal to, in bracket, ut sine 20 minus 4.905 t square. Okay, this is equation number, suppose 1. Now what we will do, we will consider horizontal motion from point of projection to point of target. Okay, now observe this. Consider horizontal motion of stone. What we can write now, this horizontal motion, it is not uniform velocity, it is uniform acceleration motion. Okay, so again we can write s is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, instead of that we will write x. Why? Because we are considering horizontal motion. So x is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, now what is value of x? It is given in the question. What is this range? It is 5 meter. It is towards right, so it will be positive. So plus 5 equal to, what is x component of this u? It will be u cos 20. U cos 20 into t. Now this acceleration, okay, this, what is given? Wind resistance is given. So wind is basically resisting the horizontal motion. Okay, so that acceleration will be negative. So don't forget that. Okay, so we have to consider negative sign there. So minus acceleration is 0.82 by 2 into t square. So simplify this, we will get 5 is equal to ut cos 20 minus 0.41 t square. Suppose this is equation 2. Now solve equation 1 and 2. simultaneously on engineering scientific calculator to calculate ut and t square value. So I'll write it down. Solve 1 and 2 simultaneously. In calculator, use ax plus by equal to c to solve this, and you can consider x is ut and cos 20 is a, so ut is x and t square is equal to y. Okay, then we have to consider this will be a and this is x, and this one is b and this one is y. Okay, same way you have to apply it for this equation and solve on calculator. So finally you can calculate the answer. You will get x and y. So x, we have considered it as ut, so you will get x and y, and we have considered x as ut and y as t square. So you will get ut value as 5.6713 and t square value as 0.8032. So finally take the square root, so t is equal to 0.8962 seconds. So what was asked in the question? Determine the time of flight of the stone. So from point of projection to point of target, what is the time that we have calculated? Okay, now we will see the calculation part. So if you see these two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. In equation 1, we are considering ut as x, and similarly in equation 2 also we are considering ut as x, whereas we are considering t square as y in equation 1, and in same way equation 2 also we are considering t square as y. So now in calculator we will go to mode and we have to select 5, which is equation, and we will select equation 1, ax plus by equal to c. Now a value, here we will consider equation 1 first. So a value is sine 20, b value is minus 4.905, and right hand side of this equation, this will be minus 2. Second equation, a is cos 20, then b is minus 0.41, and right hand side this will be 5. So again press equal to. So first we will get x. What is x? ut, and ut is 5.6713, which I have written over here, and next is y, which is t square, and t square is 0.8032. That value I have written over here. Now if you take under root here, you will get value of t, which is 0.8962 seconds. Now after calculating this, we need to clear the mode, so you can press on, and we have to go back, we have to go out of this equation mode. So you have to press shift, then clear, then press 3 and press equal to, and then AC. Okay, now we will start with kinematics of rigid body. Okay, now we have seen kinematics of a particle. Okay, so for that we have seen variable acceleration motion, then motion curve, then curvilinear motion and projectile motion. Now in kinematics of rigid body, so here be careful, it is rigid body. So kinematics of rigid body, we have to consider the dimension of the body, but still force and mass are not involved. Okay, now in this we are going to consider mostly general plane motion. Okay, now this concept is very important, instantaneous center of rotation. Now what is this instantaneous center of rotation? We will see that. What is the definition of that? In general plane motion, which is combined motion of rotation and translation. So in general plane motion, we have both rotation and translation. It is possible to locate an imaginary point about which a body may be assumed to have pure rotational motion without performing any motion of translation. So even though we have general plane motion, which is combined rotation and translation, it is possible to locate an imaginary point about which the body will have pure rotational motion without performing any translation motion. That is what? That imaginary point is what? The imaginary point about which the body is assumed to have pure rotational motion is called ICR, instantaneous center of rotation, which is denoted by I. Now these are few properties of ICR. Okay, linear velocity of ICR is 0. Hence, it is also called instantaneous center of zero velocity. Okay, this point we will see with the help of example in upcoming slides. ICR is an imaginary point. Then ICR may lie inside or outside body. The position of ICR is changing at every instant and it is not fixed. That is why it is called what? Instantaneous center of rotation. At every instant, that position of I, it is changing. It is not fixed. And since that is changing, we will have different points over there, and the locus of that ICR during motion, it is called centroid. Now here we will see example of general plane motion. Okay, so here we have vertical surface, horizontal surface, and a rod AB has been placed. Now what will happen is, suppose this rod, it slides down. Okay, so I'll show the velocity vectors. So here you can see in next diagram, point A, it will slide in downward direction. So velocity will be downward, VA. And point B, it will slide towards right. Okay, so that is why velocity will be towards right. So here you can see VA, it is downward, and VB, it is towards right. Now what we have to do is we have to draw perpendicular to both the velocity vectors. So here you can see this is perpendicular AI, and here you can see we have velocity VB. So to this I have drawn perpendicular. Wherever these two perpendicular intersect, that is ICR I, instantaneous center of rotation. Okay, now why this motion of rod is general plane motion, we will see that. Okay, if you consider point A, here you can see it is translating, once the rod slides down, it is translating from A to A dash, whereas you can see point B, it is translating from B to B dash. So translation is there, and along with that, if you see the rod has some angle, initially there is some angle, and finally the angle is changed. So angle is also changing. That is why this is general plane motion. Now in first case, we had seen this VA is velocity vector. VA is velocity vector. To this vector I have drawn perpendicular, so this dotted line, it is perpendicular. Now VB, to VB also I have drawn perpendicular. Wherever these two perpendicular intersect, that is ICR I. So it is for this instant. Now suppose the rod location, rod position is this one. Okay, suppose that is A dash and B dash. So what will be velocity? It will be VA dash, and point B velocity, it will be towards right, VB dash. So again you have to draw perpendicular to the velocity. So this will be perpendicular, and here this will be perpendicular. Wherever this perpendicular, you have to extend it, it intersects, there you will get another I. Now consider that it is I dash, instantaneous center of rotation. So in this way, at different position we have different ICR. So same thing was written in the previous slide. Okay, we'll go back to the previous slide. The position of ICR is changing at every instant and it is not a fixed point. The locus of ICR during the motion is known as centroid. Okay, now after this, few cases are given here how to locate ICR. Now suppose this is a rod AB which is performing general plane motion and velocity vector VA and VB has been shown over here at point A and point B. Now how to find ICR? What we have to do, this is velocity vector. I have drawn perpendicular to velocity vector. Here you can see this dotted line, this is perpendicular, and second velocity vector is VB. For this also I have drawn this dotted line, perpendicular. So wherever these two intersects, that will be instantaneous center of rotation ICR I. Now what we can write is this rod. What is meaning of this ICR? This rod, it is rotating about this point I, pure rotation. What is omega for that? Omega AB. So V is equal to R omega. So what we can write? VB is equal to IB into omega AB. Similarly, what we can write? VA is equal to IA into omega AB. Okay, this is for figure 1. Now consider second figure. Now this example, understand it properly. This is rod AB and at A we have velocity VA and at point B we have velocity VB. Both are parallel. Okay, now whatever velocity is there, what is the magnitude of this? It is 8 meter per second and velocity of point B, it is 3 meter per second. So we have to draw this by scale. So from point A, suppose this is 8 centimeter, this arrow, and from point B we will draw this arrow 3 centimeter. Now what we have to do is extend this. So this is perpendicular to the velocity VA and this is perpendicular to velocity VB. So we have drawn this perpendicular, so this will be perpendicular to both the velocities, and from the tip of VA to the tip of VB we have to join this dotted line and we have to extend it till this vertical. Wherever it intersects the vertical, there we will get ICR I. I'll repeat again. We have a rod which is in general plane motion. Both the velocities are parallel, VA and VB, and according to magnitude I have taken the scale and drawn the velocity vector. So what we have to do, we have to draw perpendicular to both the velocity vectors, which will be this vertical, and then from tip of VA to tip of VB we have to join the dotted line, draw the line passing through both the points and extend it till vertical. Wherever it intersects the vertical, that will be ICR I. Okay, now again you can use the same velocity. V is equal to R omega. So what will be VA? It will be IA into omega AB. What will be VB? It will be IB into omega AB. Next example. Now these are two velocities in opposite direction. Okay, so again a rod is there which is in general plane motion, and at point A we have velocity of 8 meter per second towards right. At point B we have velocity of 3 meter per second towards left. So we have to draw this 8 by scale and 3 by scale. Then for this velocity vector, this is perpendicular, blue line you can see, and for this velocity vector this is perpendicular. Okay, so rod itself it will be perpendicular. Okay, then we have to draw line joining tip of VA with tip of VB. Wherever this line intersects AB vertical line, there we will get ICR I. Now what will be VA? V is equal to R omega again. V is equal to R omega. So what will be VA? It will be IA into omega AB. What about VB? VB will be equal to IB into omega AB. Now here you can see for both the cases, okay, if you keep your thumb at I, keep your index finger at A and rotate your index finger in the direction of velocity, it is clockwise. Same is true for VB also. Keep your thumb at I, keep your index finger at B and rotate your index finger in the direction of velocity, it is also clockwise. That is why here omega, it is shown in clockwise direction. Same is true in this case also. If you keep your thumb at I, keep your index finger at B and rotate it in the direction of velocity, it is clockwise. That is why this omega AB, it is clockwise. Same way, keep your thumb at I, keep your index finger at A and rotate your index finger in the direction of velocity, it is clockwise. That is why omega AB, it is clockwise. In this case 3 diagram, okay, here you can see this point is there. Keep your thumb at this location I, keep your index finger at A, rotate index finger in the direction of arrow clockwise. So omega AB is clockwise. Same for VB. Keep your thumb at I, keep your index finger at B, rotate it in the direction of velocity clockwise. So that is why omega AB is clockwise. Okay, so in this way we can get direction of omega AB. Okay, from velocity vectors we can get that direction. Now very important concept, ICR of rolling body without slipping. Okay, so understand this diagram. Here you can see a vehicle has been shown and this is the tire of the vehicle. Now this wheel, this is the front part. Okay, so this will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. So this wheel, if you see the center of the wheel, it will have linear velocity, whereas if you see the it is also having angular velocity. So this is a case of what? General plane motion. Okay, rolling of body without slipping, it is a case of general plane motion. So here you can see, now here we are not going through the derivation part. If a body is rolling without slipping on stationary surface, then the point of contact with stationary surface is the ICR. So here you can see this body, it is rolling on horizontal surface without slipping. Okay, so what will be ICR? Point A. Now here just understand few basic things. If you consider point O and if you see the motion of this cylinder, it is clockwise. Okay, so point O, this is initial position of the body. If you say the next position, suppose this is the next position. So this point O, it is transferred over here, it is O dash. Okay, so it has moved linearly. So point O, it will have linear velocity. Whereas if you consider any point on the wheel, okay, suppose this is point P, it will have both linear velocity shown by this horizontal V and then it will have angular velocity as well. Okay, so how you will get this? It will be V equal to R omega. Suppose this is some other V. So V is equal to R omega. Okay, now it can be proved that, so this is one V, this is second V and resultant V, it is in between. Okay, so this R is what? Resultant V. And if you consider point A and if you have this point P, any point which is located on the surface of the wheel. Okay, if you join this AP, this R which is resultant of these two V velocity, this is resultant velocity, it will be perpendicular. Okay, so this will be perpendicular. So what we can write now? So what we can write is V velocity of this, it will be this R. Okay, so instead of this V we can write R as well. Okay, so this R, V is equal to this AP into omega AP. Okay, so if you take any point on the surface of the wheel, you will get the same equation. Okay, what will be that? That body, this body, the surface, any point, it is assumed to be having pure rotation about point A only. That is why we say over here that point A, okay, if a body is rolling without slipping on stationary surface, then the point of contact with stationary surface is ICR. So this point A is the ICR. Okay, now properties of ICR that will be valid here also. Linear velocity of this point A, it will be 0. Why? I'll give you an example over here. Okay, suppose this point A, its linear velocity, it will be towards right. Okay, and it is rotating in this clockwise direction. So this velocity, tangential velocity, it will be towards left. So these two velocities, they are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction and collinear. So it will cancel. Both will cancel each other, and velocity at this instant, okay, at point A, this will be 0. Now in same way, what you can comment about B point, what will be velocity over here? Point B, linear velocity is towards right, and point B, tangential velocity is also towards right. Okay, so for point B, it will be 2v, and if you consider point A, its velocity will be what? 0. Okay, and point A, it is what? Instantaneous center of rotation, ICR. Now here some examples are given on the bottom side. Triangle is there, square is there, pentagon is there, hexagon is there. Okay, so we have triangle, square, pentagon, hexagon and circle. Okay, if body is rolling without slipping on stationary surface, then the point of contact with stationary surface is ICR. So this triangular surface, okay, it might be a rod, triangular rod. Okay, so it is rotating about this point. So this is ICRI. So all the ICRs are marked over here for different surfaces. Next we will see motion of connecting rod and piston of a reciprocating pump. What is pump? There is difference between pump and compressor. Pump means what? It pumps water, and compressor means what? It compresses air. Pump, where do we use pump? If you see the society, okay, to raise the water from ground to the top of the building, terrace, okay, there pump is required. Okay, and where is compressor used? Compressor means it is used to compress the air, increase its pressure. It is used when if you see the application, filling that air is filled in the tire, right? Tube of the tire. How that is filled? With the help of compressor. That compressed air, it is filled in the tube of the tire. Okay, so we have pump, which is for fluid application. We have compressor, which is for air, or you can say gas. Now here you can see the different parts. Understand the name of the parts. Okay, so here we have this outer part. This is cylinder, this inner disc. Okay, now understand this. This is a cylinder. Huh? It will be like this. Okay, it is cylindrical. It will be like this. Then this center part, this is piston. Okay, this piston, it will be in a form of disc. Okay, it will be like this. It will be a disc which is reciprocating inside the cylinder. Now this, from this point to point B, this is called connecting rod, and B to A, this is known as crankshaft. Okay, now what happens is, if this here at the center we attach a motor. What is motor? If you supply electricity, that motor will rotate, its shaft will rotate. So this point A, it will make this crankshaft rotate in clockwise direction, suppose. So what will happen? This crankshaft will rotate in clockwise direction. Because of that, there will be a motion of this connecting rod, and since the piston, it is held in vertical direction by the cylinder, this piston can only slide inside the cylinder. So there will be a reciprocating motion of piston in the cylinder. So basically what we do over here is, we are converting rotary motion into reciprocating motion. Now what happens in engine? In engine, reverse is there. Okay, here petrol will enter along with air. There will be a spark plug over here. The fuel will burn, and then this piston, during the power stroke, it will move in this direction. So because of that, connecting rod will have some motion. Crank will rotate, and once this crank rotates, there will be gearbox, and through there you will have connection to the wheel, and wheel will rotate. Now next we will see this AB is what? Crank. Crank AB, which rotates about its axis A with a uniform angular velocity omega. Okay, omega is 2 pi n by 60. N is a revolution of crank. So we are converting this n rpm into rps. That is why we have divided here by 60, so that we can get radians per second. What is this BC? BC is connecting rod, whose to and fro motion it is governed by crank. Okay, AB. This is the crank. And what is this disc? This is a piston, whose to and fro motion it is governed by this connecting rod. Okay, now this it will be better to understand with the help of animation. So I'll show you the animation. Okay, understand this. Now here the diagram is slightly reversed. Here you have crank, connecting rod and piston. There it is in opposite way. Okay, here this is this portion, blue portion, this is crank, center one. This is connecting rod. This is the slider or piston, and we have cylinder over here. Okay, now understand this. Now this crank, it will rotate, connecting rod, it will have some motion, and piston, it will slide inside the cylinder. Okay, so see this. Observe this patiently and understand what happens. Okay, so here you can see this is crankshaft. Okay, small one. It is rotating, and here you can see this is connecting rod. Okay, it has a general plane motion, and this is a piston which slides inside the cylinder. It cannot travel in vertical direction because of the cylinder. So basically here circular motion, rotary motion is converted into reciprocating motion. Okay. Now in order to find ICR of this one, what we have to do? Numericals are there. Okay, so understand this. Now AB, it is what? Crankshaft. Okay, what is BC? Connecting rod. And what is this box here? You can see this box, this is slider, and it slides between this. Okay, here you can see some hatch lines are shown. So these are this is the surfaces inside which this slider slides. Okay, so if you consider point B, this point B, here you can see this dotted line. Okay, it will rotate in this way. So if you consider this point B, what will be the angular omega AB? It will be clockwise. Okay, we are assuming some direction. Point B, velocity, it is towards this direction, suppose VB. So if you keep your thumb over here at point A, keep your index finger at point B, rotate your index finger in the direction of velocity, it is clockwise. So that is why omega AB, it is shown in clockwise direction here. Now to this velocity VB, I will draw perpendicular. So here you can see I have drawn perpendicular, this dotted line. Okay, so this is perpendicular. Now this slider, it is sliding in horizontal direction only. So what will be velocity? It will be in x direction only. Here you can see velocity, it is towards right, suppose, for example. So draw perpendicular to this. So this is perpendicular. Okay, extend this perpendicular, and wherever it intersects with this perpendicular, that will be instantaneous center of rotation I. Okay, now it is for this position. Suppose the crankshaft rotates. Okay, suppose new position is this one, then connecting rod, it will go in this direction, new slider position is this one. So ICR I point, it will change again. Okay, that is why it is called instantaneous. Okay, so I hope you understood this concept. I'll repeat this again. This is AB is crankshaft, BC, it is connecting rod, and this box, it is slider, which is sliding between this horizontal surface. Okay, and velocity, suppose this direction is given, so from there we will get direction of omega AB, it is clockwise. Now suppose in question it is asked that we have to calculate velocity of this slider. Okay, now how to calculate this is, we'll see the approach. Okay, now if you keep your thumb at point I, keep your index finger at B, and rotate your index finger in the direction of velocity, this is which direction? It is anti-clockwise. So here this omega, it will be omega of this rod BC. Okay, so omega BC we can calculate. How we can calculate this? VB is equal to R omega. So R is IB
into omega BC. Okay, now velocity it is given, suppose, and IB we can calculate this using sine rule. Okay, so suppose you have all the angles in this triangle IBC, so we can calculate IB as well. So from here we can calculate omega BC. Now omega BC is known, we can calculate VC. How? VC is equal to R omega. What is R? IC into omega BC. Now omega BC we have calculated here, so this value is there. IC value we will get from sine rule. Apply sine rule to this triangle IBC. If all the angles are known and if BC side is known, we can calculate IB and we can calculate IC. So if IC is known, if we can calculate that, we can calculate VC. So in this way we can calculate velocity of slider.
Okay, so we will stop over here, and numericals of kinematics of rigid body we will solve in next lecture.